Samsung is reportedly choosing to sacrifice the upcoming Galaxy Z Flip 7's performance in favor of more cost savings, as it has chosen the Exynos 2500 for the upcoming clamshell foldable. And while this move is stirring up controversy, it's rooted in pricing strategy more than raw performance. Since the SoC's mass production, which was said to have kicked off in February earlier this year, has been plagued with low yield issues, producing only 20 to 40% usable chips, making this decision a high-stakes gamble. And yet, a new rumor claims that the Korean giant's decision to use its own chipset over Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite wasn't a favorable one performance-wise, but rather a strategic push to reduce component costs, even if it meant potentially launching a flagship foldable phone with a less competitive chip. And estimates say Samsung is only planning an initial supply of 200,000 Galaxy Z Flip 7 units, with the possibility of ramping up production later, depending on how the Exynos 2500 yields improve and how well the market responds. And at the heart of the issue is Samsung's troubled experience with 3nm GAA technology, a next-gen node that has become a thorn in its side due to ongoing manufacturing challenges, leading the company to want to move beyond it as quickly as possible. But for now, the Exynos 2500 may be its only viable 3nm product, with sources from Chosen and Tipster at Jaconless Reeve pointing out that the SoC is locked in for the Flip 7, which is scheduled to launch this July during Samsung's Unpacked event. And while there were internal tests reportedly passed with flying colors using the Snapdragon 8 Elite, an industry insider speaking anonymously confirmed that Samsung's ultimate decision to go with Exynos boiled down to the significant price difference between the two chipsets. Even though the Exynos yields are far from ideal, and Samsung typically prefers yields closer to 60% before ramping up production, because that threshold minimizes losses from defective chips. Yet in this case, the company is likely to pay more per wafer, but the Exynos 2500 could still be the cheaper option overall compared to Qualcomm's flagship chip, and it also aligns with Samsung's long-term goals of reducing reliance on third-party silicon and gaining more control over its mobile platform ecosystem. Plus, the experience gained from this generation's 3nm node could prove invaluable when Samsung moves to 2nm GAA, where current yields are rumored to be hovering around 30%, suggesting this launch is more than just about the Flip 7. It's also a critical stepping stone in Samsung's foundry evolution and competitiveness against rivals like TSMC. And as for consumers, this means the Galaxy Z Flip 7 could ship with noticeably different performance and efficiency compared to other Snapdragon-powered foldables, raising the stakes for Samsung to prove its in-house chips can match up in real-world use. And if the yields improve over time, Samsung could increase production beyond the initial batch of 200,000 units. But all hinges on whether the Exynos 2500 can deliver a smooth and reliable experience at launch, which remains a big question mark. And while critics argue that this strategy risks diluting the premium foldable experience that customers expect, Samsung's bold move could also signal the start of a new era where the company takes more ownership of its silicon destiny and gradually narrows the gap between Exynos and Snapdragon performance. And this shift will be closely watched not only by consumers, but by the entire industry, especially as Samsung continues to invest in its semiconductor roadmap and plans for future foldables like the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Fold 8. And all eyes will be on this year's Unpacked event in July to see how Samsung justifies this decision, what real-world benchmarks say about the Exynos 2500 performance, and how consumers respond to a flagship phone powered by a chip with known yield and efficiency issues, and whether it ends in success or failure. Samsung's commitment to developing and deploying its own silicon can have a ripple effect on pricing, design, and software integration in future models. And for now, all we can do is wait, speculate, and watch closely as more leaks and benchmarks emerge in the coming weeks. And you can be sure we'll cover it all right here on TechVerse, your #1 destination for cutting-edge mobile news, analysis, and everything Samsung and beyond.